I didn't hear where we are.
Sure. We're at Plaza Mitre. Mitre, and that guy up there is Bartolomé Mitre, and he was the first president of an organised and united Argentina, because prior to that, us Buenos Aires people broke away for like 10 years and we had our own country. We did quite alright, and then we had a civil war and we won, so we kept the entire country. Yeah, province people are not going to like that, so mention it to them, but that is historically what happened. We won the war and then we annexed the rest of the country. And he's not that relevant if you really think about it, because he's on the 2 peso notes, and that's half the plot. And they're going to make it into a coin. And he was also the founder of La Nación newspaper, which is a fairly conservative newspaper. And he was the man in charge when we went into war against Paraguay. It was called the War of the Triple Alliance because it was Argentina, Uruguay and Brazil against Paraguay. And it was just quite brutal. It was pretty much genocide, you could say. About 90% of Paraguay's male population was killed.
When was that?
Pardon?
When was that?
Okay, between 1872 and 1878. And it was just devastating for Paraguay. Paraguay was industrialising quite quickly, and they were more developed than we were at the time. And the thing is, Paraguay's army alone was larger than that of Argentina, Uruguay and Brazil combined. But what happened is that they were being attacked from all sides, from all ends. Exactly. So they never really stood a chance. And even though they had more manpower, our military technology was better, I suppose. So the war started because Paraguay wanted to have access to the sea, or to have further access to the rivers. As you know, Paraguay is a landlocked country, you'll be going there, and they were developing really fast and they wanted to be able to trade with the world. And to do that, they had to either go through Brazil or through Argentina. So the war started initially between Paraguay and Brazil, but Argentina has always been sort of the America of Latin America, so whenever there's a war, we'll jump in and we'll take land, and yeah, we're pretty dodgy when it comes to that. I'm ashamed to say that that's what we did in the 19th century. We don't do that anymore, but we did back then. Every single major war in the continent, we got involved and we took land from one of the countries. It is true. For example, they had the War of the Pacific, which was Chile, Peru and Bolivia. We jumped in, we took land from Chile and Bolivia for some reason.
So the Cerro del Fuego is separated from sort of the rest of Argentina by a little bit of Chile. Yeah. So how did you lose that?
No, the thing is, there's a treaty, I think it's from like the 1870s, that said basically Argentina on the Atlantic, Chile on the Pacific, and that bit was for some reason considered the Pacific, and it also goes through a certain meridian, is it? So like they drew a straight line and there was a bit of land that was just on their side.
It just looked, it kind of looked a bit strange. It's like, oh, I wonder if I assumed it must have been some sort of a war where one of you lost it or something, but no.
We nearly went to war over 3 islands that are near there, which are the Picton, the New and the Lennox Island. And eventually what we did is, instead of going to war, we had a political consultation here in Argentina and we decided to just give them the islands. They want them so much, you know, they can have them. And in return what we got was a lot of the ice fields in the south are also quite disputed because it's ice, so how do you really determine, you know, who it belongs to? So for giving them the islands, we ended up taking a fair bit of the ice fields, which is better in the end. Yeah, but the issue with the islands is that it kind of broke that treaty from like the 1870s where it said Argentina on the Atlantic, Chile on the Pacific, because the islands have coasts on the Atlantic. So that was a bit tricky, especially when it comes to the exclusive economic zones. Now that it's all the same common market, it's pretty much no worries, but back then it was a major issue. So yeah, what we usually do here is, if you guys want to go up there to get a better view of the area, then that would be good. And if not, we can just keep on riding towards Recoleta.
Okay.